It's 18 minutes after 11. You are listening to the Maryam Mkwanda Show on Salam Media, and we are also live on Facebook. And if you have any comments, questions, queries, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section. We have had to move our interviews because of network issues and yeah, all of these other issues that come up with having an online platform like this. Anyways, for our marriage segment today, we are talking about the role of in-laws, the role that they play in your marriage with the relationship coach Pumelele Sakina Dolamo. So your in-laws are a crucial part of your spouse's life. I mean, they are your spouse's parents, right? And your spouse's siblings. They are the people who grew up with your spouse, and they were there every step of the way. Well, most of them. This makes them a crucial part of your life as well, or it should make them a crucial part of your life as well. No one ever said it was going to be easy to balance your needs with the needs of others, especially the needs of an entire new family. But creating family harmony is possible, but it's very much worth the effort. And not just from your side, but from both sides. So, how do we all come together and live with the in laws? Well, let's find out. And remember, you are also an in law to them. It's not just the one sided thing where they are your in laws from hell. What about you? Aren't you an in law from hell? You should think about you as well as a person. So, our coach Pumelele, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for joining me on this lovely, gloomy Tuesday, but it's actually my kind of weather, so I'm not complaining. But yeah. So tell us, how should in laws behave after a marriage? And taking into consideration that in laws are parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever, basically your spouse's family, as well as you entering into that family that makes you an in law as well. So, how should we behave?
Shukran for having me. And there's nothing wrong with the weather. It's perfect. Firstly, we should remove, the thoughts that when we go into marriage, because if we look at media and around, a lot of people push the idea that in-laws are our enemies. So most of the time we do go into marriage with the thoughts that I have to have arm myself with guns and knives because I'm going to war. Yes, you should take some precaution, but you should have positive thoughts as well. And as in-laws, we should look at other human beings and give them the respect that we want. So as an in-law, as in-laws, we should not forego the basic courtesies, kindness, respect that we expect other human beings to give us as people.
Mm-hmm. Is there such a thing as bad in laws? If so, what are the signs to look out for or to be aware of?
There definitely is bad in-laws, the way that you get bad people. So what you should be looking out for is people that are constantly putting you down. So, usually just as human beings, generally we do disagree. We don't always have the same opinions, but there are people who just go out of their way to make you feel bad about your thoughts and your opinions and the things that you say to them. And as well, what you should be looking out for is there are just people who are constantly making you as a couple to be against each other. So you should be looking for people who are always saying, no, she said this about you, no, he said this about you, and they lead to you as a couple fighting. So as a couple, you should be watching out for that. And generally people who don't respect your space, they just come in at your house anytime that they want you. They don't make a call to inform you. a sense of entitlement to your possessions. In-laws who just come in and take whatever they want. They say, no, my son bought that, so I have a right to it. Or no, my daughter bought that, so I have a right to it. So those
Mm.
are the things that you should be looking out for. And people who just ignore you, like you're not part of the family. You are sitting at the table, but it's like they giving you the hand. Don't speak now, it's not your turn. So those are the things that you should be looking forward to, because when you form part of another family, they should be treating you as part of the pack. So if you get people that generally are just shutting you out when they are deciding on holidays or something that has to do with the family, and they treat you as an outsider, those are some of the negative traits that you should be looking out for. So yes, most definitely you do get bad in-laws.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, if you are faced with a situation like that where you're always left aside, you're not part of the decision making, or perhaps as the in-law or the makoti, you're always the one who has to do everything, when it's December holidays and, everybody's looking forward to your arrival because, they're going to put their feet up finally and you're going to get to take care of everything. I know people always make jokes about it, but it is the reality,
It's
unfortunately, in some
real. It's
households.
real.
So, how do we salvage such a situation without having to go and get a fake cast for your foot and say, hey, look, I'm unable to work now?
The sad reality is that we are very afraid to approach our family. And most of the time, the usual setup is that the woman goes to the male in-laws. So most of the time, it's women who have these challenges. And most of the men, they need to step up and address the issue with their families. So you need to be a team as husband and wife. And since your husband is the one who brought you into the family, it's
Mm-hmm.
important for him to state and set the boundaries that,
Yeah.
these are the things that my wife is able to do, and certain things she's not capable to do, because most of the time, all of us are working during the year and we want that December break. We want to relax. So you can't have one human being busy pulling the weight around. It should be well balanced. Everyone should put in an effort towards making the whole family work. So it's very, very important that as a couple, you present a united front, and you just don't have one side busy pointing out, their unhappiness. Your husband should be there with you and helping you out to deal with the in-laws.
Mm-hmm. And that also breeds another problem when your husband is standing up for you. That they're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, no, she's wearing the pants and she put korobela or something. That's why he can talk back and he can defend her because he was never this type of person. Blah blah blah. You know how our problems are. It's always like that. It's never ending.
No,
But
those are part of sorry, no, those are part of the challenges, and that's where the couple should decide that, what, we maybe instead of spending 7 days with the family, maybe we'll just spend 3 days with them, or even one day, in order to avoid such a situation. So your sanity matters a lot. There's no use spending 7 days with people who dislike you. Then what's the point?
mhm. Speaking about spending 7 days with them, should you live with your in-laws as a newlywed or somebody who lost their job and their home and now has to move back to their parents' place? Should you live with your in-laws? Is it a good idea? If yes, are there any coping mechanisms to get through that part of your life?
It's entirely up to the couple. You have to weigh your advantages and disadvantages. There are people that you know that you can live with them, and when you communicate, you can adjust, and everyone has their role. But then you get people who are just intentionally not willing to work with you, then I wouldn't advise any couple to live with such a family. But in any situation where you have to stay with people you are not used to, there's a lot of adjustment that has to take place. But it's about the people that are involved. Are they willing to work together? And then if they are not willing to work together, then it's best that you find your own place, a little mkuku somewhere where you and your spouse can live together peacefully, instead of living in a huge mansion without any peace of mind.
Yeah, that is a difficult situation, but you know what? With hardship comes ease, even if it means having to deal with the in-laws from hell. Not every one of us have in-laws from hell. It's just, in fact, it's just a situation like you mentioned earlier, that this is what society breeds. It breeds in-laws from hell, and sometimes that's not even the case. People fear living with in-laws because of this mindset of having in-laws from hell. Okay, how much influence should your in-laws have on your marriage? We have the sisters-in-laws who are always there. Look, my brother this, my brother that. We have the mothers-in-laws. Oh, Makoti is wasting my son's money. Makoti is doing this. Makoti, we're not eating because of Makoti. And sometimes the father-in-laws hardly even talk. They're always there in the corner, quiet. So, how much influence should in-laws have on our marriage? But please hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll continue when we return.
To tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies, from exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal, there is no substitute for quality.
From the townships of South Africa, the refugee camps in Syria, or orphanages in Yemen, the eyes of the needy speak volumes with just one glare. We know what it's like to be at ground zero, with food essentials, clothing and blankets, fresh water portal trucks, and even on-site navigators. We use every cent to better their tomorrow. Become part of our journey to bring relief to all. Go to www.ashrafulaid.org or call us on 011-809-8181. Ashraful Aid, under the auspices of Maulana Suhail Wadi.
Cape Town Tours, luxury service at affordable prices, anytime, anywhere. Services include airport transfers, sightseeing, customized full-day tours, Islamic historical site tours. This is Kramats, mosques, Boerkaap, etc. Long-distance trips available like West Coast, Mykonos, Hermanus Garden Route, etc. All transport in and around Cape Town to meet your needs. Very versatile and flexible. Safe and reliable transport in an air-conditioned luxury car. Contact Gulam on 071 346 7069 or 074 191 6144.
Duzi Med Medicine Depot Retail Pharmacy and Emergency Medical Depot. Conveniently situated in the Duzi Med Medical Center, corner Burger and Bossel Street, Pietermaritzburg. We provide safe, affordable and convenient medical facilities. Open till 10 p.m. every day of the year. We have a full house clinic that operates from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is run by a qualified sister. The clinic offers immunization, vaccination, wellness, general consultation, and more. Call Duzi Med Medicine Depot on 033 3421 Duzi Med Medicine Depot, your pharmacy of choice.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
It's 11:32. You are listening to the Maryam Mkwanda Show on Salam Media. And on today's marriage segment, we are talking about coping with your in-laws. If you've just joined us, you've missed out a bit on the conversations. And that's because we've had to move the interview a little earlier. Don't despair. It is on Facebook. You can view it at any time of the day. You can share it with your family and friends and basically just listen at your own time. Please leave your comments, questions, queries, or suggestions in the comments section or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 So before the break, oh, by the way, I'm chatting to relationship coach Pumelele Sakina Dolamo. And before the break, I wanted to know about how much influence should your in-laws have on your marriage. Shukran for staying with us. And what do you think about that? How much is a little too much? You're still on mute. I cannot hear you. All right. While Coach Pumelele tries to mute and unmute herself, I'd like to share this horror stories from. It's not like horror stories like ooh Chucky, no. But this is about horrible in-laws, and not to scare you guys, but it's the reality of today. Um, So this story says here, my mother-in-law is a recovering drug addict. I think my husband said that the only drug he didn't witness her do was heroin. She was also physically abusive to my husband when he was a child. Because of the drug use in her past, she has medical problems as well as mental issues. She's tolerable in small doses, and she is my husband's mother, so I try to be supportive and help him maintain a relationship with her. But it is difficult sometimes. When we first started dating, she sent my husband a nasty letter blaming him for awful things that he didn't do. He didn't speak to her for several months after that. Yeah, when it comes to situations like medicines involved and mental health issues as well, it can be a bit challenging to cope or to try and live and get along with your in laws. Let us try again with Coach Sakina. The famous line of 2020 has now come into 2021. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? You're like, no, I can't hear you, but I can see your lips moving. So I think you're saying, can you hear me? All right. So I think you need to refresh and come back on. But I'm going to share some more horror stories from families in laws. So you try refreshing and then you can join the link once again. So, right. Mother in law found out her father died in Korea 3 weeks after it actually happened. Her family didn't tell her because they thought she would lose it. Came home to find knives hidden in all the furniture in positions to stab us sitting down. We got our own place after that. Did you guys get that? Mother in law found out her father died in Korea 3 weeks after it actually happened. Her family didn't tell her because they thought she would lose it, right? We came home to find knives hidden in the furniture in positions to stab us sitting down. And that's when they decided to get their own place. Imagine mother in laws. Yeah, but, anyways. So we're going to take Sakina on the line instead. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear her this time. Okay, Coach Sakina, let's try. Can you hear me? Let me see if I can hear you. Or let me hear if I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right, great. Let's continue. Yes, influence. How much influence should your in-laws have on your marriage?
The couple should have a set goal as to where they want to be as a couple, and whatever their goal is as a couple, that should determine how much involvement that they need from the in-laws in their relationship. Obviously, you cannot completely cut out your in-laws, so they are part of your spouse's of who they are. It's very important to them. So it's something that you should really take out of your mind if you think you can eliminate your in-laws. But there should be boundaries. There should be a limit, because at the end of the day, both of you are adults and you can take your own decisions. So it's very important that you tell them that you value their opinions, you value their thoughts on a certain manner, on a certain matter rather, and you are grateful that they are thinking of you, but you need to take this apologies. You need to take this decision on your own.
And when it comes to boundaries, how do you set boundaries with your in-laws? Because boundaries is not just something that you set with. I mean, everybody needs to have boundaries. Even a parent and child needs to have boundaries. A husband and wife, there are boundaries that you need to set, and obviously with the in-laws, there needs to be boundaries as well. So, how do you go about setting boundaries with your in-laws?
So it's important that you as a couple, you have a conversation about what you need as a couple from each other. For example, if you need more time together, then it's important that your in-laws know that, for example, on Fridays, they don't call you to a family commitment or something, because you'll be spending some alone time together. So maybe you can have Saturday lunches with them, for example. So, it will take some time to adjust. It's not something that happens overnight, because they're used to having you in for a certain time or in a certain manner. They're used to calling you at 10 p.m. So you'll have to tell them that, from now on, you can really call me up to 8 p.m. After 8 p.m., you can no longer call me. So it's important that you reinforce that over and over again, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. And last year, when I attended the Mommy and Me event, kudos to you guys. There was a doctor, I forgot her name, and she spoke about parenting and generally generational curses, and also how our parents parent our child through us. Now, when children are involved in this whole in-law relationships, there are times where they sometimes overstep the border. They take charge, they take control, they want to be in control because, well, this is now their child. But how do you set boundaries there and let them know, okay, I'd like to raise my child my way, but I'm not afraid, or I will listen and take heed of the advice that you offer, but can you please not parent my child?
It all goes back. You know what I always say: conversation, and open conversation. Because most of us are afraid to say what we want. You know that this is what you want for a child, and obviously, grandparents, they can over spoil kids, So it's very important to have that conversation where, conversation is so beautiful when you sandwich it between compliments, It's very important that you let them know that, you know what, you are such a great parent to me, and I value, your parenting methods, but I also want to put in my own parenting methods into my children. I want to parent them different, because sometimes some parents, they take offense. They say, do you mean I didn't raise you the right way, or I didn't raise my son the right way. So they might take offense when you want to introduce something new. But you must also make them aware that, times are constantly changing, and we learn new things each day about parenting, about living. So you are not totally foregoing their type of parenting style, but you also have their own, and also you can point out, great things that they do with their kids. You don't just have a list of do's and don'ts that they should be doing. So have a list of all the great things that they do with your child. That I really love it when you're always hugging my child. I really love it when you do this. But pretty please try to avoid doing such and such a thing. It's not my wish, for my child to be exposed to this and that, So it's all about conversation. And, we are so afraid. We are really, really so afraid of conversing with people. But conversation really, really goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. And we are afraid because of the things that we read, the things that we see, the things that we watch as well, and it stays in the back of our minds. Like, okay, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? Mother-in-laws will be sitting with their friends and having tea and saying, "Oh, my daughter-in-law doesn't want me to raise her child," and blah blah blah. Well, if you're not there, you don't know what they're saying. So why should it even bother you? So, Coach Sakina, in a conclusion, what would you like to share?
I would just like to share that, as a people, let's continue to be open. Let's not see each other as enemies and see each other more as a family, both as a daughter or son-in-law going into a new family. Be conscious as well that it might take some time to adjust to the new normal, and you need to be accommodating to that adjustment. And just plain, go back to the basics, the basics of humanity, which is respect, courtesy, kindness, listening to people, and understanding where they come from. So, and we are not enemies, we are one big family that is growing.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to basics. Coach, thank you so much for your time and for sharing that with us. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Same to you.
That was Coach Pumelele Sakina Dolamo taking us through living with our in-laws. What roles should they play in your marriage? You can leave your comments in the comment section, or you can send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 766 0355. Do stay with us. We will be right back.
Oh